Welcome back to Fooscasters, ladies and gentlemen. We have a great matchup for you tonight. On your left side, playing on the black side. In defense position, we have Danny Reed. In the offensive position, we have Keith Bauer. Playing on the yellow side, offense, Kenny Osman. And in the defensive position, John Discenzo. Four great players. This is going to be an excellent match to watch. We're going into this game pretty deep into the Cleveland BYP tournament. I believe we are at the semifinals. Whoever wins this match will go on to play in the finals. Still no score here. The first ball. Everyone's had an opportunity to put it in so far, and they haven't. And then Kenny lines up a pull shot and goes long against Danny Reed and scores the first point for his team. They are up 1-0. Keith now with the ball in his 5-bar in a brush position. He's able to go through the lane and catch that ball successfully. Now he's lining a snake shot. He's looking at John's defense. It is a slow rock, and it looked like he missed the net there. I don't think John got any piece of it. Danny throws a perfect pass to Keith, and he's just not able to hang on to it. Danny Reed as being one of the best defensive players that we see. He's got an interesting style. He's a little unorthodox, which makes it so effective because he switches up between shots and passes. As a defender, you don't know what's coming next. He's able to disguise his passes very well. Kenny again with the ball on the 3-rod, lines up a pull shot, and he's able to bury a straight shot to make it 2-0. You know, another thing that Danny does really well that I've noticed over the past few weeks is hanging on to the ball. And I noticed when he is either playing in offense or defense, a lot of times that ball will look like it is falling off his rod, or it's way too in front of the man to even make contact with the ball. And for some reason, at that very last split second before that ball squirts out of his area, he's able to just put a blistering shot on the ball with just the tip of his man, and it's very deceiving. Many times at that point where the ball's at, the defender has already begun to try to retrieve the ball instead of playing defense and block it. It's a very tricky thing he's able to do. All right, back to the game now. Keith, ball on his 3-rod, needs a goal for his team. I think that's his 3rd snake attempt, and John D is there to make all the blocks, playing excellent defense. Yeah, I was going to say, I think Danny's sensing that urgency that they needed a goal there. He took his time and he put a beautiful shot on John D's far side, and gives him the 2nd goal of the game. Kenny with a nice brush up lane. He's now going to line up a pull shot. He goes long, and he goes a little too long and hits the far wall and ends up right back on his 3-rod. He goes along again, with Danny this time to able to put all his man on that ball. And now Kenny loses the ball right back to Keith's 3-rod. That's giving him a chance to tie up this game. Ooh, Keith giving no rock. He's just looking at the defense, sitting on the ball, waiting. He put a quick pull shot on. It didn't look like he got all of it. It still ended up in the goal, though, somehow. I think it hit John D's goaltender on the far side of the table and trickled into the goal. And here comes Keith again with another opportunity to score. He's now in snake position, doing a slow rock. Pulls it, and John D's there to make a block. The rebound comes right back to Keith. He's barely able to hang on. Lines up another shot and buries this time. Kenny now really wants to put this ball in the goal to finish off this first game. And Kenny's going to line up his pull shot. And there it is. 4-4. Okay. Keith Mauer now in snake position. John's giving him a great defense. He tries to go straight, and John's there to make a block. Ball ends up on Kenny's 5-bar. Kenny makes a nice hard wall pass. It bounces back to his 5-bar. He's barely able to hang on to that with pinball style in between his two men. This second attempt, he's able to get the ball through cleanly, and he's now in pull shot position. He goes for a quick rolling pull from the middle dot, it looked like, and Danny's saying, no way, that's not going to happen tonight. Kenny's back with the ball on his 3-rod, looking at Danny's defense, trying to get a good read on it, and he's going to call a timeout. It's a good time to call a timeout there. It looks like Kenny is going over what shot he's going to pull on Danny. I guess in my suggestion, watching this last few goals, if I were Kenny, I think I'd be looking at the straight shot here. He hasn't done it yet throughout the game, and from the looks of it, it looks like it's opening up a little bit more than the other holes right now. Okay, here we go, and Kenny's back in pole position. Danny's, and there he was, and Kenny did go for the straight, and Danny was all over it, all over the straight in the middle. Like the long was there for him. I think Danny was on to the same thing that we were. Danny makes a really nice block and now gains possession of the ball in his 2-rod and makes another smart play by calling timeout. It looks like Danny is strategizing with Keith over the play that they're going to make here. You know, it could be anything here, a pass or a shot. I think that if I were Danny, I'd be taking the shot. It looks like they've been getting through on net. He scored a goal that way. A couple of passes have gotten through, but Keith hasn't caught on to him. And there it was. There was the quick pass off the back wall to the lane, and Keith is not too happy he wasn't able to catch that one. It was in perfect position and perfect speed. Keith lucked out. He was able to make a nice block on the 5-bar, and the ball did trickle in the goal there. So it's 1-0 Keith and Danny. Keith and Danny are probably one of the strongest teams at this tournament tonight. They are always one of the teams that the other teams at the tournament they really target to try to knock out because they have so much skill and experience on the table. It's always going to be a tough match, even if they're not totally on their game. That first pass attempt by Kenny almost looked like the same play of the last game where the ball ended up in the goal, but John D was paying attention this time, was able to get his man on the guy and gain possession on his 2-rod. Keith now with the ball on his 5, makes a nice hard pass in the high lane and goes pull side, and John D is there to make the block. Kenny goes long on his pull shot, and Danny is there waiting and ready to make that block. And Keith now with the ball on his 3-rod, lining up a snake shot with a slow rock. And that was a nice shot right there by Keith. That's probably the best shot we've seen him take so far this series. He pulled that ball all the way around John's defense. And he noticed the last couple of shots, he wasn't quite getting all the way out there. And John put a full man on it. So that tells Keith that, man, if he's blocking that shot, which is 2 dots in, if I go 3 dots, I should be able to get around him. And that's exactly what he just did. I'd like to see a little more rock on Keith's snake shot. Looks like he's got a kind of a short rock. If he could pull that ball back and forth all the way to the edge of the man on either side, I think it's going to give him more range. He's going to be able to get to the far side, either pull or push, much easier if he was rocking a little bit heavier. Again, that pull snake was blocked by John's back rod. I don't think Keith got all that shot on that he wanted, but Keith is so good at picking up the balls in the 3-rod and passing from the 5-rod that I think honestly he could miss. I would say he could miss like 75% of his shots, and he's still going to probably win the match just because he's getting so many shots on goal. Now, whereas Kenny isn't getting the ball as often, but when he is getting the ball, he's putting it in the goal. And that's what's keeping them in this game here. It really looks like Kenny and John are really looking for a goal from the back. If they're going to win this game, they need John to put a couple hard goals in the net, and that's really going to change this game around. And I think that Kenny's expecting maybe a goal or 2 a match from John D. He's got lots of power, an excellent bank shot. When he takes his time and he switches his shots up, he's not shooting the same thing consistently. He's one of the most deadly defenders from the 2-rod. That ball comes in with so much speed. There's no time to react and make a block, even if it's not 100% executed properly and on net. It's so hard that it'll hit a few guys or a wall and still open the goal. And that's what Kenny's looking for on John, and that's what they need out of him today. Kenny makes a nice block on Keith's 5-bar pass, and he's lined up in snake position. Looked like he tried to go middle that time, and Danny Reed was there to make the stop. Danny now makes a beautiful pass to Keith, and Keith's not going to miss this one. He's going to put it right in the lane on snake shot, small rock, and he's going to push this time, but I think he went a little far, hit the wall, and John D gains possession. John likes to do a pull shot out of the back, and he lines the ball up quite a bit in front of his rod. It's a pretty unorthodox shot. But man, when that comes off his man, it's coming with some fire. Keith again with the ball on the 3-rod, and he pushes that snake shot around John D's toe and able to score a goal there, giving his team their 3rd goal. Keith steals that ball off Kenny's 5-rod, and he's going to go straight over the lane and line up another snake. He's looking, taking time, looking. And he's going to fire up the middle. What a beautiful shot there by Keith. He took his time, read John's defense, and waited for that middle to open up and just blasted, giving his team the 4th goal. Now it looks like John D is now playing offense. They switch positions. Keith's going to throw a nice pass up to Danny, but he's just not able to take possession of that ball. We should take note that both teams have switched positions here. Danny Reed now in the offensive position, in snake shot position. He's going to go for a push snake. I'm not sure he got all that he wanted to on that ball, but that was his first attempt from the offensive position. John D now almost able to put the ball in from the 2-rod. That would have been a great time for him to score a goal there. They really need some push and some fire. Oh, Keith, just a beautiful pass up the wall to Danny Reed, who now is going to line up a pull shot or a pull kick here. Pull shot, and he goes long, and John D's there to say nope. John's looking to score here. You can tell he's putting some shots in the bread basket. He wants this goal for his team. He's really moving the ball around. I like to see that out of John. And there's Danny with his pull shot. He tried to go near side, hit the post, and the ball ends up going downfield to Keith's 2-rod. Keith now goes for a pull shot, and that's blocked by Kenny. I believe that's Kenny in front. Anyway, Keith the ball again. Ooh, and he turns the ball over to Kenny's 3-rod. And Kenny's really wants to put this ball in now. His shot up the middle is blocked by Keith. Keith clears it out of the zone, back on John D's 2-rod, where he's lined up on the inside line. His shot's a little wide of the goal. Keith again with the ball on the 2-rod. Throws up a pass with some speed. It was a great pass. It looked like Danny was there, but he just couldn't hold on to it. It was a fast pass, but a beautiful catch by Danny on his 5-rod. He's going to try to go up the wall, and he's blocked by Kenny, and the ball is dead in between the men. Kenny's going to gain possession on his 5. Keith with a beautiful block, steal, pass, shot. It's denied by John D. Keith now with the ball on the push position all the way against the wall. Tries to dish up a pass. Danny's not able to hang on to it. John D clears, and it's going to end up on the 3-row. We had another push kick that was blocked by David Maurer. Keith now dribbling the ball between his back rod and his 2-rod. And he's throwing nice passes up with that goalie man. It's really smooth. It's hard to read when that pass is going to come. That's a pass that is relatively new in the foosball scene. It's showing that our sport is evolving, and there are different strategies being created, different passes that we're seeing, a lot more teamwork, a lot more passive between the 2-rod and the 5-rod, or the back 3-rod and the 5-rod. Players are noticing that it's a pretty effective strategy, and some big teams have won big matches when playing out of state using that strategy. As an offensive defender, it is extremely frustrating to try to block. And it can really throw an offensive player off their game. You know, it can even throw them off their offensive game if they're easily rattled, because that pass can really mess with you. Okay, now it's like Kenny has the ball in the 2-rod position. He's going to go off the wall in the middle, and Danny Reed's there to make the block. Kenny now lined up with the ball on the far sideline. He goes for a pull shot. Beautiful shot on net. Heath is there to make the block. Now John D picks up the ball on the 3-rod. Lining up a back pin now. And it's a beautiful shot. I mean, the goal was wide open. I'm not sure what Keith was thinking there, especially the ball being on his back pin. There was really no opportunity for him to go straight. If I were Keith, I would have been sitting on the other side of the goal. That's just me. It's a close game now, though, and we've got Danny up front in the 3-rod position, ball in full kick position. And he's going to slice that ball on the near side, beat Kenny Osman, and they are going to advance to the next round. It's a great win by Danny Reed and Keith Mallon. All right, thanks for watching, folks.